Hudson from Hudson Valley Bookkeeping, and in this video I'm going to show you how to purchase a new QuickBooks Online file. We will review a chart of accounts I've created especially for mental health practices. Then we will import the file, the brand new Excel chart of accounts, into a new QuickBooks Online file. All right, let's get started. Hello everybody, I'm Laurie from Hudson Valley Bookkeeping, and in this video we're going to do a beginning setup, and we'll start out with picking the right QuickBooks for a private practice, mental health practice. Okay, so here I am, and if you're just starting out and you're not going to bill inside of your QuickBooks, I personally would always start with a simple start. You can easily upgrade with a click of a button later, and most of it, you're not going to need unless you have an assistant and multiple people you want to work in there. So if you have an assistant that you would also like to do bookkeeping, you'll need to go to the essentials. If it's simply you, then, and I focus mostly on solo practices, you would do simple start. If you plan to hire an outside bookkeeper, they will have their own accountant login. And even with simple start, you get 2 accountant users. So if you're going to use an outside bookkeeper, then simple start's fine. If you are going to have an in-house assistant or other family member, you really should have separate users. So then I would move on to essentials. Even with simple start, you could add payroll. If, for instance, you had an assistant or someone that you were paying. So those are the things. I don't believe, okay, where would you use plus in advance? If you had a multi-location practice with lots of employees or subcontractors, and you're doing a lot of tracking based on the location or the provider, then you would move up into plus and advanced. Okay, so we're going to choose the plan. Now, if you've ever bought QuickBooks before, you may already have a QuickBooks login. So just remember that if you go and enter your email and it prompts you something about having a login already, you're going to need to use that. You'll just always have like a dead file connected, and there's nothing you can do about that. Unless you have a million email addresses, and I think it's easier to use an email that you constantly use. So the next step is, do you want to add payroll? So just FYI, I like their payroll. I use it for my company, but I would only use the Elite. And $130 a month, once the promo is over, is still so cheap for payroll. Don't ever think you can do it manually. Okay. So, but I'm going to say continue without payroll. Okay, live expert assisted. It's free. And let me just tell you, you get what you pay for on that. I've had a lot of training calls with people after the fact on that, and understand, they're trying to assist you with software and they've been trained on software. They are not bookkeepers unless you're going to pay for the live bookkeeping, which might be a little better. Okay, so here we are. So if you are one of many people I talk to, you have at one point in time attempted QuickBooks and then maybe you gave up. So if you did, you should click sign in, say forgot password if you don't know what it is, and get into your account. I'm going to pause this for 1 minute because I'm going to sign in and pay for this. All right, here we are. It says, let's get QuickBooks working for you. So you enter your business name. These are different things, and it's, again, just invading your privacy. Just don't worry about it. It doesn't matter what you say. Okay, offices of physicians, mental health specialists. I'm going to say sole proprietor. So if you're doing this, you would say owner. And we're just going to say just the owner. Okay. Mental health practices cannot do their invoicing through QuickBooks because it's not HIPAA compliant. So please do not even um, think about doing this. Okay. Now, it's not giving me an option. I have to click one of them. So we'll just say, do this first. And now we can say skip for now. This is kind of a neat feature. If you have the QuickBooks app, you could scan receipts. Okay. You again cannot do this because you can't invoice clients through this. It's like credit card processing. You would invoice them. But again, you can't do that. Okay. And then it's bringing up other things you could do later. But we're going to skip all that. And what we're going to really focus on in this video is creating and setting up your chart of accounts. And I also, when I'm on a lot of training calls with clients, they don't like all of the garbage accounts that QuickBooks makes. And I don't mean it garbage like it's mean, it's just QuickBooks is trying to give everybody a very, like setup because most people don't understand a chart of accounts, but then you have so much going on. So before you start, you want to make sure you understand what the chart of accounts is. What does that mean? And I also have another video talking about chart of accounts. But to get there, you go transaction, chart of accounts. And what this is in accounting, you have three main reports. You have a profit and loss, you have a balance sheet, and a general ledger. The profit and loss tells you how much money you made and then how you spent your money, and then if you have a net income or a net loss. The balance sheet is your balances at a given day. So it would say you have 10,000 in the bank on Friday, and maybe on Monday you have 15. So it's really date specific what your balances are as of a certain date. And that will be your assets, such as your money, and then it will have your debt. So for an easy one, if you have 10,000 in the bank and you have a $3,000 credit card bill, your net equity is 7,000. That's the simplest way to do it. Okay, so this is basically this whole thing you're going to get when we first start. And then here is my therapy chart of accounts that I like as a standardized chart. So we can go over importing that. Hopefully it goes well. I haven't done one in so long. But let's talk about stuff you don't necessarily need or want. And then we should also look for duplicates because sometimes I get feedback that people say it may double accounts and things like that. And that is the issue if I'm just looking for anything I'm double accounting. Well, we'll just go through it. So let's just talk about what I have here. This accumulated, it starts with an A, so it comes in first. Accumulated depreciation, only your CPA would make a journal entry on that. And it's usually only against if you had a lot of computer equipment or something like that. Because if you own a building, that should probably be in a different entity. So that's normally where it's used against property. So you have your furniture and equipment, medical equipment, and security deposit. So if you are renting an office, this would be where you'd put your security deposit. Opening balance equity is used when you're starting a brand new file. In the end, it would be cleared out to owner's equity, but it's a good starting point because you have to enter opening balances for your checking and savings and credit card balances from the last day of the previous year. If you need to start on a January 1st type of thing. Owner's contribution is when you give your business money, and owner's draw is when you are taking it out. Okay, copay, and this is what I have for income, and then we can talk more about that. But so copay and self-pay. So that is money that if any money they're giving you as check or cash or Venmo or Zelle or whatever through your simple practice, I don't know. Anything where you're getting that, like credit card deposits and so forth, you put to copay and self-pay income. And then insurance would be anything you're depositing, either remote check deposit or it's coming in electronically. I do like to break out insurance into every separate insurance company, but that's for, I think I made a video on that already. But this video is for someone starting a brand new file that's trying to kind of wrap their head around how to import this file or look at it and see what's best, right? So then we have advertising, automobile, bank, continuing ed, depreciation. Again, that's really going to be your accountant making that, dues and memberships. And then here's types of insurance. So that's always good, right? Now, workers' comp, you would only have if you have an employee. But even myself, actually, when I was a solopreneur, I paid for workers' compensation for myself. So you could technically still even have it if you don't have employees. You can insure yourself. Licenses and permits, miscellaneous. And then these all are sub accounts. So if you see the colon, that these are the subs of office expense. So everything that cleaning, computer, IT, software, and so forth. Professional fees, so that would be your accountant and bookkeeper, legal fees. Then we have reference material, rent expense, supervision, travel, utilities, interest income, and then use Ask My Accountant as a place to put things that you're not currently sure how to code. Okay. So now we've looked at what I want to import. Man, I haven't done an import in so long. I'm a little nervous. Okay. Let's just look at what they give you here. They start you out with one bank account and it says cash on hand. That's fine. So let's say this is Chase. All you would do is go over here, click edit, and you can rename the account. I really think you should put the last four of the account number in your account name. Okay. Notice that this says bank. Bank is the account type, very critical, detail type. This doesn't matter. Pick whatever you want. Checking's fine. Some things I cannot make inactive, like accounts receivable. You can't have that. I don't think it lets me. Look at it. Inventory. Private practices are not going to have inventory. So there's another thing we can do is like payments to deposit. Look at this. It's also referred to as undeposited funds. So if you're learning or watching things in QuickBooks, again, you're not going to be posting payments and you're not going to be posting receivables. So you really shouldn't need that. But I don't think it would let me get rid of it. The same thing with uncategorized assets. I'm also going to take out prepaid expenses. It's not standard in a private practice. And again, I'm from New York. And in New York, we put everything in a separate LLC. So if I have a physician who owns a building and then has a practice, the building is in one LLC. And then the practice is in PLLC, a PC, whatever. But just remember, like, you're not normally going to have these. And who I'm speaking to on this video is a solo provider. Okay. These things you might need: computers, copiers, custom software, tools, machinery, and equipment. I don't think so. Vehicles, maybe. Vehicles aren't really very deductible in a private practice because you're not normally like going out and doing business and driving places in your car to sell things. You're normally either working virtually or just simply driving to an office. So I would be careful with that. We're not going to do customer prepayments. I'm going to take out all of these things. You're not going to have sales tax. Like you could activate these things later. And don't ever use these estimated taxes. Oh my Lord. Owner draw and owner investment is the same as my owner draw, owner contribution. So we'll see what happens when we do the import. Personal expenses. I have a CPA that would literally kill you if you had all of these. I mean, I still have clients make me do it, but you don't want to have all of that in there. Just don't put your personal expenses in your QuickBooks. And one of them, it didn't let me do it. It's fine. So we're going through here trying to take out, again, and it's saying it's putting all this stuff to equity, like personal health insurance premiums, personal this, personal that. Anything that's personal, don't pay out of your business. Please. Just begging to go have a bad audit. And so what we're also trying to do is, I like the term, keep it simple, stupid. Like make things so simple that it can't confuse you. So I guess it's not letting me make personal expenses inactive. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'm going to tell you something, what I deal with when I don't like an account I can't get rid of. I put X's in front of it. Then I know never to use it. Billable expense income. No, it's just like such a weird way to term something. Anyway. Okay, so you see what I'm doing here. All of these personal accounts, I'm I'm putting X's in front of them so that people don't use them. This is really good. It seems so boring, I know, but and these you're not going to use any of these cost of goods, equipment rental. And you know what's crazy, everybody, is that I said what kind of business this was, and yet it still gave so many codes that are just silly. You're not gonna, okay, pay refunds to customers. Let's see what I have. We have refunds. So let's see if we just type refunds. So it'd be patient refunds. So let me rename it. And it's income and service fee income. So I need to go change my detail type because this is where when we're trying to do the import, we'll see if it doesn't do that. Okay. Advertising and marketing, listing fees, social media, website ads. So I'm pretty sure in my chart of account, at one point I had one called listing fees. Hmm. You're not going to have commissions. You're not going to have contract labor. We wouldn't do it. I'm going to take all of, I'm working this off a solopreneur, so I'm going to take out all of these. Usually someone starting out isn't going to have all of those costs. And the key is we're really trying to make this a very manageable thing for you to post your transactions. Okay. Like cost of goods sold, I think I have different ones. Building and property rent, business license. See, I think all of this, if we get rid of it, then when I do my import, it'll be better. You're not going to have entertainment with client. Let's just keep, this is like a critical step because if you jump over this, what happens is people end up using so many accounts and choosing so many things and they don't even know what they're clicking. And then they go and make codes. Okay, you're not going to have a mortgage. I don't know why it made this many. We don't have, you really shouldn't even have meals. The only kind of meals would maybe be a travel meal. So I'm just going to make all of these inactive. You can't take your clients out. Meals are, I don't take meals for my company at all. There's just really no point. I am not, unless I'm actually, which happens maybe 2 or 3 times a year, I go out to dinner with the client. The only time I really spend any meal money is employee meals. Like they take an employee out to lunch, or we all go out to lunch, or I order takeout and we eat in the office together. And again, that's only 50% deductible. Okay, again, these are not. If you're solo, your taxes paid is a distribution. You're not going to have that. Oh my gosh. I'm just going to make all of these inactive and then import the file. And then we'll see what we have. I have one client that I was just working with, and she actually deactivated every single account. So we were putting them back. So that's why I'm kind of like, oh. let's look. So office expenses, I have merchant account fees, office supplies, and here are office expenses. I like the merchant account fees. I don't know why I don't have that one. Oh, because mine is called credit card discount fees, and I put it at the top in cost of goods because it's something you need all the time. The one thing I am going to, no, that's fine. Your your advertising and promotion, that's where I put your psychology today, right? Where you're listing that kind of stuff. Okay, so let's just see if I make all of these inactive, then if I just import, because like I said, I don't even think I have wages in here. Taxes paid is normally not an expense. Of course, it feels like it, but in your accounting for a solopreneur, it is, it flows to your personal tax return and the tax is paid at that point. So it's not like what is a C corp when they pay taxes, it's straight off the income. And don't do home office. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay, 5 words, fine. All right. So let's see about home office. Don't take home office. First off, you should never put home office inside of here. Um, that would be something your accountant would figure out. And there's a percentage of your expenses. So this should never be in here. It would really be like a journal entry, not a transaction. And the other thing is you have to have a dedicated space that no one ever goes into only for work. And most people don't have that. So when I film these videos, this is actually truly a real office in my home. Um, and no one comes in here. It's not used for any other purpose, but I don't take that deduction. One, because now I pay rent to my landlord. So you can't take home office and have rent expense. So, but many accountants I know really, really do not like home office. Okay. So now let's see about this. We're going to do an import. I'll download this. Okay. Gonna upload. Okay. Okay. We're not using account numbers, so that's why this didn't come up. And so it's showing that it picked up the correct fields. Okay. So it looks like I need to fix a couple of those. Okay. Then I click import. So you don't really want to import this Excel file if you have an existing chart of accounts and you've been actively coding. This is really for, if you have it printed out, it can give you a great idea of things to do later or add in, right? But if you've been actively in a QuickBooks account and you've been creating codes and you have all kinds of things coded, I would not import this. This is for someone starting a brand new file that's really, you know, trying to get things right. Okay. It says 3 didn't come in. And change the info highlighted or try again. So these are probably already there. So I'm okay with the 3 failing because I think these are already there. That's the whole point. Okay. So then we can say import. Oh, it's not gonna let me do that one. So then X. Okay. So just want to go like these are things again that I couldn't get rid of. So again, put X's in them. Anything you see these. Now, why the reason see how it's in the equity section? That's because it's not really an expense. It's a personal expense. Okay. So we have owner draw and owner draws. What was mine? Owner draw. I like owner draw better. Okay, so when you have two of the same ones, you'd make inactive. So some of them, I'm leaving my list the way it is because not everybody is going to import. So then they have a list of how I would follow. Let me just explain retained earnings. That is after a year, let's say your net income is 10,000. On the first day of the next year, that net income of 10,000 will move to your retained earnings on your on your balance sheet. Because otherwise your profit and loss would just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger year over year. That's how it closes out. Okay. So we have billable expense income. I do not like that. That can't be mine. No. I think that's the weirdest count. Okay. Copay and self-pay. So these came in really nice. Copay and self-pay income, insurance income. And then honestly, I'm going to change this one. I really wanted to say, I don't know if I can change it in here. I have to like re-upload it. I like patient refunds. So that's if you have to, obviously refund them. Now, when you're posting in your bank transactions, when you link your bank account, what this is the categories that you're choosing for each expense. So when let's say your credit card in the bank transaction window shows Dropbox. So Dropbox would be software. So look here, I have subcontractors, 1099 therapists. So if you're paying someone, an outside billing service, credit card discount fees, that's the charge of the processor that when they take that 3%, transcription services, and then we have advertising and marketing. Here we go. I was wondering where this is. Listing fees. That's like your Psychology Today, social media, website ads, and you could just continue to make sub accounts under here. So mine is advertising and marketing. So we would make this one inactive. It's kind of hard to see all of them when you're comparing. I have charitable contributions. I like mine better. So you should look here so you don't like go to two different places. See, which one is mine? Insurance. Oh, look, malpractice, workers' comp, health, general liability. Yeah, that's mine. Okay, so we take this one and just make them inactive, hopefully. But so you will have duplicate accounts. I didn't find all of them. Like I said, one client, she actually made everything inactive before we started, which was good because in one way she already had it set up, or she had her chart of account list she wanted to go over with me. And then she was doing the import. So I guess it's one way it's to make them all inactive. But and so look, we have insurance and insurance expense. It's not letting me make that one. So we'll just put X's in front of it. Bookkeeper 20 years ago taught me that. And there you go. That's it. Vehicle expenses. That's a lot of different vehicle expenses. Let's see if that's what I did. I have automobile expense. Okay, so I have auto. So that's a really big vehicle expense. So let's make those inactive. Sometimes it just doesn't want to make them inactive. Okay, so let's go down and see what it was. So it got rid of everything else, but it didn't get rid of that. So again, we'll put the triple X's in front of it. Okay, so that is how to start a file, kind of understanding what the different account codes are and how I went about importing this. Now I'm going to have to go and fix these detail types for the download. So you can actually, there will be a link in this video where you can download this Excel file. And you can also schedule a free 15-minute call with me. I offer specialized QuickBooks lessons for private practices, as well as our company, Hudson Valley Bookkeeping, also offers bookkeeping for private practice. All right. Have a great day.